Look, there's a range of factors that have contributed to the deficit that this government faces and the debt that we've accumulated. It's something that I, as a Liberal, don't like to see, but of course, given everything that this government have had to deal with in terms of COVID and the response to the Royal Commission into institutional child sexual abuse, for example, just to name two, there are a range of things they've had to deal with. But what we have here in the Tasmanian Parliament today is a Parliament talking about themselves and not about the Tasmanian people. And the only reason we're doing that is because you've got an opportunistic opposition leader who has taken the opportunity to move this motion of no confidence. Now, Tasmanians want stability. They want the government to get on with the job of actually governing in their interests rather than having this go on. So I hope at the end of this we have the Liberal government continuing on, but frankly there are some parliamentarians here who are going to have to answer to Tasmanians about what they're doing today. If I went and walked down Salamanca Place here, all the people ready to go to Dark Mofo, and asked them how do you feel about another election, they'd all say absolutely not. They just want the people they elected a year ago in the formation they did. It is a minority government, which is harder to deal with, just to get on with it. And to that end, the opposition leader, Dean Winter, along with the Greens, should respect that. And if they want to make amendments to the budget, if they want to change things, then put ideas forward. Don't destabilise the Parliament and cause all of this upheaval. This has an impact on our small state's business sector, the investor confidence that we so depend on for people to bring money into our small state. These sorts of stunts don't help, and Dean Winter needs to really have a think about that before he pursues this any further. The reality is everyone wants the team. I mean, sure, there are some people out there who sort of say take it or leave it, but everyone wants the team. There are a group of people as well who say, well, why can't we have the team without the additional infrastructure, especially with the new price? And of course, seeing increased costs concerns everyone, me included, especially when you do have existing infrastructure like Ninja Stadium in Bellerive and York Park in Launceston, as some have said, but the AFL have set their deal there. Maybe they could come to the table and give Tasmanians a break and perhaps reduce the burden on the taxpayers here and let us play at these stadiums that we currently have, rather than demanding the expenditure they want for a new stadium. Hobart's a bit different to Melbourne and Adelaide and other large population centres, but Bellerive is 800 metres across the river. If you had a proper ferry service, you'd be able to get from the city where I'm standing right now across the river to this stadium. And there are ways of dealing with it. But look, the AFL have demanded it. The government have done their very best to meet that so that we can have this team that Tasmanians have wanted. As I say, maybe they want to come to the table and ease the burden on Tasmanians. It might make a difference for what's happening in the Parliament right now. It takes a special variety of spectator, let alone player, to deal with the Tasmanian weather, and our current facilities are pretty well exposed to the elements here. But look, there are a million ways to dice this, and I think the AFL need to be flexible. If they truly desire Tasmania to have their own team, as they say they do, then perhaps they can be flexible with us about what we, a small state with Commonwealth government assistance, the small Tasmanian government being able to make its contribution and whatever we can get from the private sector or elsewhere, maybe they can ease the burden on us a little bit. And I think, as I say, if the AFL softened their stance, perhaps what's happening in the Parliament over there right now might be a different situation. This entire debate around the stadium, of course, has gone the way the AFL would have liked it to, which is you must have a stadium if you want the team. It was a one equals the other proposition. That will have an impact. But Dean Winter has taken advantage of that opportunity, a time when Tasmanians are doing it tough, increased power prices, housing affordability issues like everywhere else in the country. No solutions from him. No alternative budget of any real substance, yet he has a stunt no confidence motion because he just wants to be Premier, whatever the cost.